Hi guys, today I'm going to talk you through energy and heat, which is something you'll have to deal with when you're modifying your ships. You can see them at the side of your screen. Your energy, you'll want this to be as high as possible at all times, and your heat, you'll generally want it not to be red. So you'll want to keep your heat as low as possible because some weapons in the game can do heat damage and they can cause your ship to go into an overload. And just to show you what a heat overload looks like, oh, there we go, we're dead. Oh, this is off to a great start. Okay, so so just to show you what a heat overload looks like, there we go. We are slightly paralyzed, and there we go. So we don't want our heat to be too high. So we can have a little bit of a look into heat. So what we need to be aware of is the maximum heat is the statistic that we need to not go over. So in terms of your idle generation, that's what you generate when you're not doing anything at all. Moving will create additional problems. Your firing is going to create additional problems, as are your shield regenerating and your hull. So your overall net change, you want to be lower than the maximum. So in order to do that, there are a number of different ways we can. If you've got a lot of outfit expansions installed, this is going to create a problem because they create heat dissipation issues. We want to have not a lot of these attached to your ship generally, but I'm going to keep them attached for now. Now you can get, for example, water coolant systems, which will help you reduce your heat, as you can see there. So even though I'm doing okay, I'm now able to have a little bit more control. These do normal cooling, which basically that cools down your ship and creates problems before there's a problem. And then you've got other ones which are active cooling, and these require energy to use. So if I install these like so, they will start activating once there is a problem, and that's when your heat starts going up. So they're going to basically make sure that I don't overheat as quickly. Active cooling is usually a little bit smaller than your standard standard heat shunts and coolant systems. So it's smaller, but it does take up cooling energy, and I find them to be much more inefficient than having something like heat shunts. I'll just give you an example with none of these cooling systems in play. Yep, no cooling systems attached. We are definitely at we are at meltdown point. But if you can get hold of a heat shunt like later on in the game, that is going to create a great disparity in the heat. So one heat shunt does a decent job, like so. Let's install a couple more. And all of a sudden, we are doing a lot better in terms of the heat which our ship is putting out. So we have got a lot more control now in terms of the amount of heat that our ship can sort of take. So we're not going to have problems like we were before. So heat shunts are a very, very good way of controlling the heat on our ship. So I'm going to uninstall these things for a moment, because we're going to talk about energy. Now, energy is very, very important. We need it in order to move, fire, regenerate shields, and our net change is shown here. So when all of these different things are going into effect, so moving, firing, and we're regenerating, we're going to have a minus 336 on our energy, whereas when we're stationary or still, we're going to have a regeneration of 884. So over here we've got the maximum, which can be increased by adding a battery pack like so. So this would enable us to fight and fly for longer. So if we've got a couple of battery packs in play, we are losing energy if we're doing these things, but it's going to take a lot longer for us to sort of fizzle out and have problems, which is really, really good, because ideally we don't want those. In terms of, we'll get rid of our plasma core, which will stop our overheating issues, and I'm just going to add a couple of basic fuel cells here. So we've got a very small amount of energy coming in. We've got good heat tolerance, so our ship should be okay to fly now. Now, with the battery packs, as you see, even though we're only got a tiny little bit of regeneration, we have a huge energy bank, so we've got control. But ideally, we want to be regenerating more than we have going out. So we want more energy incoming than we have going out. So I'm going to uninstall those for a moment, and I'm going to install something a little bit better. Let's go with a fusion reactor there. So here we've got a net change of 42. The game doesn't always get the math right, I find, so we'll want something a little bit more just to top that heat off. I'm going to sell the capacitor here because we've already got capacity. Actually, I'll uninstall it instead. So this one's actually eating a little bit of energy to exist, and it's generating heat, so we want to avoid that. I'm just going to install a Millennium cell there. So let's leave. We've got heat problems again. So where are we? This is really troublesome. Just going to uninstall you for a moment. That will reduce our energy generation down a little bit, but we don't need to worry about that too much. So we're going to leave now. Nope, we can't leave yet. We've got to have the shunts installed. So now we've got control of our heat and we've got control of our energy. We will. Where's our capacitors? We'll just sell these capacitors, so we've got a lot less storage. So our maximum is 5,500 now, and I'll just show you that we can now move, and our energy is now under complete control. And once you've sort of got a ship where you've got everything balanced out nicely, you're not going to have to deal with this as a problem anymore. I believe my world ship's pretty well sorted out. Oh no, it's not even a world ship. It's an Echo Galleon on this character. Okay, so here I've got good heat, but I've got terrible energy. I think I've borrowed my energy for something else. Just going to cloak there to avoid things. But as you see, turning and thrust, they're both using up my energy quite quickly, and the thrust of this engine does create a lot of heat. It's one of the newer engines from the beta patch. So in terms of having a ship, what I need to do is I just need to find a way to balance out everything so that I'm not struggling with these with these issues. But overall, when you're balancing your heat and you're balancing your energy, it's not going to be this hard. I'm taking things to extreme here just to make things very, very complicated. Ultimately, you may end up with a ship where you don't have to deal with these different issues. So we're just going to... Oh, I've parked them all. Have I parked them already? Oh yeah, unpark you, and I will park you. So with this ship, for example, we're doing okay, even though our heat is a little bit bad. It's not going to take up quite as much in terms of being a problem until I get stunned by enemies that are using heat, which they did just because I was doing a tutorial. So because for example the heat is high here, I've just got to find a way to balance things out to make it so that there's not a problem. So I'll uninstall my boulder reactor. How much energy do I need? I need quite a bit for my shields and hull, so we want to reduce all of those problems down as much as possible, really. So how would I deal with this problem? Okay, what's my energy at the moment? I'm at minus 270. That is no good. What I want to do is install something which is a little bit like that, and I want to install a couple of heat shunts. Actually, I'll go with water coolant systems because you can get them anywhere in the universe. And then we have a ship that's a lot more effective and efficient, and we don't have an issue. So basically, You don't want a ship that's going to run out of power because you want to be able to fight and move, and you don't want a ship that will overheat. So ideally keep your energy high so that you have no problems, and keep your fuel, keep your heat low. Anyway, hopefully that will be helpful. Have a lovely day. Bye.